Hi, friends. Thank you for joining me for our weekly pastor's update. As we enter into the Advent season, I've been reflecting on the meaning of Emmanuel. God is with us. There's really no greater dilemma in one's life than to feel alone, to feel abandoned, to feel isolated, without anyone on your side who will take the journey with you. Gratefully, God rids us of that dilemma because in Matthew 1:23, we have a promise from God to be with us, to not abandon us, or leave us feeling alone or isolated. Matthew tells us that the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. So maybe this week you can spend some time reflecting on all the ways that you are aware of God's presence in your life. From the time you wake up until the time you rest your eyes, how is God with you? Do you see God in the wisdom you share, the courage you possess, the vulnerability that you have access to, the peace that comes to you in turbulent times, the trust that emerges from within, or the abilities you have been given? I'm going to be journaling this Advent every day about what it means for me to think about the promise and the reality of God being with me. Maybe you want to take up this practice too. This Advent, we have a God who has committed to the full journey with us. And because of that, all will be well. You are not alone or abandoned. God not only sees you, but has grabbed you by the hand to whisper, I am with you always. So speaking of Advent, this year, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve both happen to fall on a Sunday. And so here is the special Mass times for that weekend, December 23rd and 24th. We'll have our 5 o'clock Mass on Saturday here at Downtown Church. There will be no 7:30 a.m. Mass on the 24th. There'll be no 9:30 a.m. Mass on the 24th. Mass will begin with our usual Christmas Eve schedule. So there'll be a 4 o'clock Children's Mass and Nativity play at Hochstein. At 9 o'clock, there'll be our first Christmas Eve Mass at Hochstein. And then 11 o'clock will be our Christmas Eve Mass at Hochstein. And then 10 o'clock the next day on Christmas Day, we'll have our Christmas Day Mass at Downtown Church. So that's our schedule, and you can check the bulletin this week for that. Tack it on the refrigerator for a reminder. We also want to thank you for your generosity in helping out in our Holiday Adopt-A Families program. The Adopt-A Family team are only 9 families short of meeting their goal of providing Christmas gifts to children in 75 struggling families. So if you can help take a family or know of a neighbor, a book club, a small Christian community, a group of friends, or a family member who would like to help out, you can call the office to sign up or go to the website and click on the Adopt-A Family link. And that link is also in the bulletin this week. Don't forget to join us for our 3 evenings of Advent reflection with Mike Boucher. The first one will be this Wednesday, December 6th. And then the next 2 are on Monday evenings, Monday, December 11th and the 18th from 7 to 8:30. This is an opportunity to intentionally slow down and to engage in Advent themes and prepare our hearts for Christmas. So I hope you'll join us. Tuesday, December 12th at 6 p.m. next week is our winter Mass in the park. So we invite you to join us at Buckland Park in Buckland Lodge, which is off of Westfall Road. We invite you to bring a dish to pass and an unwrapped present for the children of the men and women in our Prison and Grace of God outreaches. The dish to pass supper will begin right after Mass, and we hope to see you there. Have you lost a loved one this year? Join us for our annual bereavement Mass, Thursday, December 14th at 7 p.m. At the Mass, you'll have an opportunity to write the name of your loved one who you lost this year. And during the Mass, we will mention their names and light a candle of remembrance for them. So I hope you'll join us for that. Are you a crafter? Crafting is a wonderful Advent practice to slow down and be present. So if you're a crafter looking for a community or a group to gather with, then join us for our Bring Your Own Craft and Socialize type of group. Bring your yarn or your paper, your coloring, whatever portable craft you prefer, and join us in the Nielsen Room on Monday nights at 7 p.m., led by our parishioner Chelsea Hunt. Last month, we voted to shift to an ownership model from a leasing model. And so it's time to be thinking about forming committees to help us find our new home. And so I want you to be thinking about that over the month of December. We've put out a request for people to think about joining and forming a homecoming board, which will oversee and lead working subgroups, a future facility team, which will be a group that works with the staff to identify needs for prospective sites, a budget and a finance team, budget team who will work closely with our stewardship committee in determining phases for renovation work needed, and a finance team who will help present fundraising opportunities. We also have a Holy Helpers volunteer team, and those will be the people who say, I want to help with renovations, decorations, and any updates. And then finally, there's the renovation team itself, which will be a group of New York State licensed professionals to work with contractors and Holy Helpers to oversee the renovations needed. If you can't remember all that, it's listed in the bulletin. And so if you're interested, please check our website to sign up to be on one of the following committees and groups that will begin meeting in 2024. This week, we send our condolences out to the family of Joan Haviland on the death of her brother John. And we send our prayers to Joanne Lefebvre and her family on the death of her cousin Bob Lefebvre. We want you to know that our hearts are with you, our prayers are with you during this very difficult time. Well, friends, I hope that you remember that you are the light of the world and the salt of the earth, and that God is always with you. And until next week, I'll see you for our weekly Pastor's Update. Take care.